The Real Deal is brought to you by Beaver trapping supplies for all your trapping supplies. The Bugera family is your normal, average, outdoors family with a twist. The Bugera family own and run one of Canada's largest trapping supply companies, Beaver Trapping Supplies. We are so excited to bring you season 6 of The Real Deal. If you believe in work hard and play hard.
Oh, that was so much fun. Okay, so Marc said earlier that this is something he did as a kid, I did it as a kid, and it just brings out the kid in us out here. Oh, it is so much fun.
If you think of yourself as the guy or girl next door.
Nice, guys.
Because I'd like to spend the rest of my life with you, and will you marry me? And you want to see some real life as they happen adventures. Don't go anywhere. The Real Deal is a group of people who do work hard and play hard. We literally are the guys and girls next door. Here, you get to see our adventures unfold exactly as they happen. No smoke and mirrors here. We are as real as it gets. We are the Real Deal. The Bugeras do it all. Obviously they trap, but they hunt and fish as well. And they help out on neighboring farms during harvest season. If it's outdoors related in Saskatchewan, the Bugeras are doing it. Here's a little highlight reel of some of their exploits from this past season. First off, let's share some predator control that the Bugeras are doing on some bears.
We're here in middle Saskatchewan in the farmland. We got a lot of problem bears out here. Probably 12 farmyards around here within 2 miles of the site, and they all have bears coming in the yard. They all have kids, livestock, pets running around the yard. These bears, you don't know what they're gonna do. We're just trying to thin them out as best as we can. As trappers, we could take a bear by snare, mechanically activated foot snare, and the season we have until May 31st to take a... Today we're gonna set up the Ursus 2. It's a mechanically activated foot snare. Comes just like the way you see it, bucket, snare, even comes with a bracket to hang on the tree. Very well made. We're gonna set one up today and give it a try. We do carry a shotgun with us just in case. I was at this site this morning, I put some bait in the barrels, and already I see that they've been hit this afternoon. So the bears are around us all the time, all day, so it's just good to have some protection with us. With this Ursus 2, it's got a trigger inside, so we're gonna bait that trigger with a piece of beaver tail actually, wired onto the trigger. It'll dry up a bit if it does, it's not a big deal. It's always gonna stay its form and still smell like a beaver. We're gonna apply a little bit of bear tease. It's made by Forsyth Animal Lures. The bears love it. We're also gonna top off a little bit of our Beaver Predator bait to make them smell it a little further. You can see where the bait will go. We're also gonna put some dog food in there. And I got some old minnows I'll throw in there also. It's just a little more smaller pieces for them. They can't just grab something and run. I like the wire to throw her up as well. Just sometimes when the bear knocks it down, another bear can come by and take your whole thrower with it. So just a quick little snap link just to protect and save your trap. We use a 10-foot 3/16 cable. This is what we'll wrap around the tree. Simple quick link. Attach it to the swivel on the snare. Get a cable. We'll tighten these up with the wrenches after. Get out back this way and around the base of the tree. Final step before you leave, make sure you take the safety off. You don't want to forget that on. Make sure the snare is in its right place. Tucked away nicely. Nothing's going to get hung up. Looks all good. Check tomorrow morning.
This segment was brought to you by Scorpion Optics. Closed captioning is brought to you by bearballbaits.com. Yes, a funny name, but serious results.
Okay. We're just driving out to check on the snare. I know there's one in there. I was just there this morning. And ran back home to get my son to help me. Got it out for about a week now. We had some squirrels cleaning out the dog food that was in it, and odds and ends happening, so we're gonna go and find this bear or get the bear out of the snare and bring him home. We got this bear. He took the bait. He kind of destroyed our trap a bit, our snare, but I don't know, he's probably 4 or 5 years old. Got him good around the paw. Perfect catch. No damage really to anything. The one thing about this bear though, he's got a stub. For some reason, he's missing his front leg. Whatever happened years ago, he got shot at or something, but all the pictures we have of the bears here, we don't have a picture of a 3-legged bear, so this is a new one that came in. Take this one back and skin him out, see what we can do.
What a great way to control the bear population without physically having to be at the bait site all the time. Now, next up is some beaver control, and I'll let Ian explain exactly what and why they're doing it.
We're just heading out of town to check some traps. Got the old truck running, and it's our hunting trapping truck. Tries to keep our better trucks a little cleaner. Local RM here has asked us to clean out some culverts, set some traps. The beavers are plugging them. It's backing up the water that actually, if this water was to get any higher, it'll get back into town and actually flood out Callan's yard even. That's how close this water gets to town for us here. So our administrator for the RM has asked us to clean the culverts out, set some traps. Also, the farmland behind here is flooding a little bit. So with dropping the water, we should be able to let them get on the field here in a couple of weeks. We're here at the first set that we did yesterday. This is the TS85 on a drowning rod, a rebar stake, basically a 10-foot stake with a diamond lock on it. And as you see, we didn't catch anything here. This setup wasn't quite what I liked. They were here obviously because there was one stick that we had put up that's knocked over, so they were around. Here we are at set number 2 that we made. This is the drowning set also with the slide cable. And by the looks of it, we got a beaver. We'll pull him up. As you can see, it's a nice front leg catch. This TS85 jumps up high on the leg. Get them really nice and tight there. These beavers came. They're a house. There's 2 houses about a mile downstream here actually. They're blocking the water. All this water from these culverts they're plugging. The RM cleaned this ditch out. They made a better channel here. The beavers just use it as a super highway up and down.
This segment was brought to you by Nungai Safaris, where you arrive as a customer and leave as a friend. This segment is brought to you by Karoo Taxidermy, creating lasting impressions since 1998.
This is a castor mound here. The beaver has pushed up some dirt off in the bottom of the slough here, and he puts his scent on there for other beavers to know that he's around. So what we're going to do is reset this trap. This is a TS85 on the drowning slide. This is a lock. Comes with the trap. And all we have it on is a 1/8 cable tied to a cinder block. We're going to set the trap in this area. This is where he's going to swim up. Take a couple steps in this low water before he comes onto the caster mount. We'll go ahead and set it up. The TS85 is a dogless trap, so it shows it just got it on there. Very easy to set. 8.5 inch jaw spread, very nice for the beavers. Make sure your drowning slide is at the top of the cable. The water we have here is about 8 feet deep actually, so well enough to drown any beaver. And this block is probably about 15 pounds, so throw that in the water. What I like to do is just put my foot on the cable, make sure it doesn't go down with the cinder block. Now take your trap, we'll set it about there. It's in about 3 inches of water. We'll set the other end up here. This way you can't pull it. And the only way down is that way. I use a Dam Beaver lure, the lure that we make. It's I feel one of the better ones for beaver. It's a caster lure. Take the stick, just put a little bit on top. Now with the caster lure or mound, you want it that he has to smell the lure, come over the trap to get it. So someplace about here, we'll stick it in the mud, just like that. The smell will draw him over, he'll come out of the water. If he comes this way, he still might go down that way. The one thing about trapping along the road is you have a lot of traffic. So these guys might see us setting traps and stuff like that. The odd person might want to come by and snoop around and steal your traps. With these drowning sets, they're very hard to see from the road, and nobody will know that they're even here.
Outside the Hunt is brought to you by McKinstry Chrysler, where the tradition of excellence continues. As I said in the beginning of this episode, the Bugera family is your normal, average, outdoors family with a twist. Today's Outside the Hunt segment is all about one of those twists. Ian is an incredible teacher and is very good at explaining things. The Bugera family even gives courses in Saskatchewan to train and license new trappers. But for now, here is Ian dealing with some skunks.
As you saw before, we did get a couple raccoons and a skunk today, so we're going to show you now how to remove the essence out of the skunk. So I started with the cutting around the legs here first, just to get it on the gambrel easier. Now the skunk glands are located on either side of his bum hole. Yes, it's a bum hole. It's not a vent. Yeah, it's a vent. But it's also a bum hole. Or I'll show you how to skin it first and then remove the essence. Start first by cutting the tail, but not going very deep. If you go too deep, your camera lady will leave the room. Just cut there. This is the gland right in there. Your sac is right there. So you can see this area right here. That's the gland. It's quite full, so you don't want to nick it. Now you can do the other side. Same thing. There. Now you can see on either side our gland area. She's quite full. Looks like a plum in there. We use a 12 milliliter syringe with a 16 gauge needle. Carefully just poke it in that area. Suck it out. There we go. You can see it collapsing. It's shrunk right down to nothing. You get that fat in there. It's called mustard. That's fine to get. Take your needle, put it in a glass container, and just shoot it in there. Always store it in a glass container. Plastic will just get eaten away by the skunk essence.
Next up is Bugera, who we don't get to see very often on camera, but here she is on her moose hunt from this past season.
Day one cow moose hunting. We're walking along and we saw a cow, but we weren't sure if it was a young bull or not, looking for horns, and it kept running away. So I didn't have a chance at that shot. And right behind it was a big bull moose. So we walked and tried to chase it as far as we could, but we lost them. Don't know if they circled back on us or what. But we are hunting cow moose, so we will just have to wait. It's day 2 of cow moose hunting, and we're just on a farmer's field that's being combined with barley. Our son is helping out the farmer, and he's in there, and his girlfriend Kayla is with him, and we're gonna pick her up when she's done. Anyway, we were driving along here and saw a cow moose sitting on a field that was just combined, just up against the edge of a bush, and we thought we could sneak around, come around this corner and catch her, but we walked along, and as we got to the corner we could see that she was standing up already, and so we walked up closer, but then she took off into the bush. We followed her a little bit, but so then we drove for a bit and rounded another corner, and there was a cow and a bull standing right there at the edge of a bush, and they let us film them for a little bit, but it was getting too dark to actually shoot them. It was wonderful to see, and we will wait for the next time. last week of hunting season, and I finally got a calf moose, which is great because we've been looking this last week and seen nothing. So I'm so excited. Finally got my moose.
Well, the Bugera family sure do enjoy their outdoors time and time in their store, Down Beaver Trapping Supplies, supplying all of Canada with trapping supplies. This episode has been brought to you by Down Beaver Trapping Supplies for all your trapping supplies. The Real Deal is also brought to you by the following great companies: Browning Trail Cameras, Northwoods Bear Products, Tacticam, Zoleo, and Heavy Shot.